The Devil Wears Prada earns top honors, and Trump and Kimmel clash. Again, right here on Beyond the Screen. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of Beyond the Screen. I'm your host, Ryan, and with me, as always, is the Jake Holtzclaw. Jake, it's May the 4th. It's Star Wars Day! And what are we doing to celebrate Star Wars Day?
Not a lick.
We're talking politics. Because Star Wars is political, you know, based on Viet Cong, and the whole empire is based off of Nazi Germany and whatnot. You know, pretty political.
Those two things correlate.
They do, actually. They do, when you think about it. George Lucas has said on record that Star Wars is very politically based. What have you done to celebrate Star Wars Day?
Thought about it. I haven't done a lick. Tried to get the girlfriend to watch it.
You sounded like a kid when you're like, what'd you do at school today? And they're like, nothing. You thought about it.
You have fun with your buddies?
Yeah.
What'd you do? Play kickball? No.
Watch Star Wars on Star Wars Day.
Recess.
That's what we did. And well, didn't, actually. Jake tried.
Oh. Well, it might be tomorrow, but I'm trying to gotta ease into it. I don't know if we're gonna do chronological or as great G. Lucas meant it to be watched, because like the big reveal, right? I'm not going to spoil it for the audiences out there who don't know.
50 years old spoiler.
But like they might not know. They might not see the prequels, you know?
Maybe not. Hey, that Darth Vader guy's kind of weird, right? He's weird. Anyway.
He seems super crucial to the...
Yeah. He seems like he really cares about Luke. He seems like there's a real paternal instinct there. I'm sensing.
Yeah.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to set that up. She has seen Rogue One. So it makes it a little easier to kind of start from...
Yeah.
Right?
Unequivocally, and like it's pretty well established, the best Disney Star Wars film since the acquisition. Yeah. Like without a shadow of a doubt.
Thing is, Ryan Gosling gets in there.
Oh, Starfighter I think it will upend anything people think about Disney Star Wars, and I'm hoping that that's true. I'm hoping that Mando and Grogu is better than what people think. I've been pushing off for years now a giant rewatch of everything Star Wars in chronological order, because you know how long that's going to take. As I was planning to do that this year, you got in my way. And do you know why you got in my way? You introduced me. As I said, I've said this before, I'm new to the genre of anime. I know weeb and whatnot. I've been highly enjoying it, and I am now I'm on my 4th series since you showed me JJK, and so that's kind of there's a lot of fun series in there.
There's I mean, I don't want to dive into this too bad, but there is like why is anime so much better now than before, but also than other American media or other
it's original
live action, right? Like we're seeing stuff that well, number one, probably isn't possible practically or even with a small budget with American animators, but I mean Mappa runs them hard.
Yeah.
but yeah, like why anime is up there whenever people get their hands on it, because there's also so many just different genres and flavors that
yes. And I think this is what I told you when I first started watching JJK was like, I love that it is just like, it scratches a part of my brain because it is just unadulterated, unfiltered imagination. And it has been that regardless of what I've watched. It's been that exact thing every time through. Is it corny sometimes? Yeah. Is it overdramatic sometimes? Yeah. Is it weird sometimes? Yeah. But like I've watched the 4 I've watched, and please don't insult me. JJK, Spy Family, Gotcha Yakuta, and now I've gone back because I've been told that AOT, Attack on Titan, is that good. And I have to agree. It is that good. But the point is that regardless, like you go through every one of those, all those are different genres. Like JJK is more, what would you call it? It's not really fantasy, but it is kind of fantasy, more sci-fi. I guess it's not really sci-fi. I guess it is more fantasy. Gotcha Yakuta. Gachi Yakuta is straight fantasy. Like, it is straight like magical toys and like the ability to give life to things and weaponry. Spy Family is more like a thriller slice of life, and AOT is everything you could imagine. Horror, thriller, all of the above. And it, regardless of genre, and I know we've been going 5 minutes into this topic, and I apologize because we're going to get to our first segment, but regardless of genre, regardless of show, regardless of premise, it's always been unadulterated imagination, and I love that. Like, I hope to make people, through our art, through my art, through your art, make people feel a semblance of how some of those shows have made me feel with its storytelling. Like, I feel the same way when I watch, like, Amelie. Not all of those series, but, like, Spy Family in particular, like, that one made me feel good about life almost every time the episodes ran up. And then AOT is just, like, so gripping. I hope to make something that makes people feel that way. And I'm so happy that I'm in the genre now and, like, watching. I didn't think I'd like it. I'm not gonna lie. When we were watching JJK to get through that special in December, I was like, I'll get through this because, like, I think that this is a cool premise, but like, then I'll be done with the genre. Nope. Actually, the opposite. I love it, and it's pretty fun. But have any recommendations for anime? Let me know. I have so much to watch. That's what's after this. I've established that. That comes after.
Was
AOT.
it I never remember its name, but it's the dungeons. I don't know. Remember.
We spat off.
Delicious in Dungeon.
That's it. We spat off like 5 that I have to watch or that we're both interested in watching after I get through the next 2 series. So AOT, finish that, and then get through Free Run. I don't remember all the names of them, but there are a lot of really fun ones. But with that out of the way, it is now time to get into our first segment of Beyond the Screen. I know, 6.5 minutes. We're going the long route here, but let's talk about the box office. Specifically, let's start with what our predictions did this past week. So if you're new here, every single week, we start off our show by going over what we predicted at the end of last week's first segment. So we look towards this upcoming weekend's releases, and we try to pick the top 5 in as best of order as we can, and we keep track of the numbers seasonally, right? So at the end of the season, there will be a winner. Each one we get right, regardless of if it's 1 out of 5, 3 out of 5, or 5 out of 5, that counts towards the season total. So as you see on our screen, I am now tied for last. I had 3 out of 5.
Buddy, you don't have to say it like that.
I'm tied for last with Jake.
For second
with Jake. I've got 3 out of 5 correct. I predicted Michael would come first, The Devil Wears Prada 2 at second, then Super Mario at 3, Project Hail Mary at 4, and then Hokum at 5. I got 3 out of those 5 correct. And Jake, and who we call TJ, we love TJ, not really. We all have kind of a vendetta against TJ. TJ is Claude, he's a bot, and we tell him, scour the internet to compete against our best judgment. So we're not using analytics, TJ is, and we're trying to see who predicts better. And believe it or not, in the 6th week since the season started, this is the first time TJ has led, which I think is a W for us common folk, us human brains. But
it's been close, though.
Jake and TJ, oh yeah, it's been close the entire season in terms of our totals. Jake and TJ both got 5 out of 5 correct, with the Devil Wears Prada 2 at number 1, Michael at 2, Super Mario Galaxy at 3, Project Hail Mary at 4, and Hokum at 5. Both of those predicted the exact same. Jake now pushes his season total up to 21, tying with me, and TJ takes the lead with 22. So we are separated by all of 1 point, ladies and gentlemen. That is how tight this race is. So now that we've gone through the top 5 in terms of how we predicted and how we did, let's go back to the top and let's tell you exactly what the correct numbers were. So if you don't remember, number 1 was The Devil Wears Prada 2, followed by Michael. Super Mario Galaxy rounds out the top 3 with Project Hail Mary 4th, and Hokum, the new horror film, I think it's from Neon, finishing out number 5, starring Adam Scott. We'll go back to Hokum here in a minute. Let's go back to the top and talk about The Devil Wears Prada. Opening up its domestic box office run with $77 million here in the States. The film, the sequel, 2 decades in the making, earned over $233 million globally on a $100 million budget in its first weekend in theaters, which is insane. Following Michael, I never would have expected that it would do that well. I know that it's like a cult classic, and I know people were excited about this, but with how frenzy the audience was for Michael, I'm shocked that The Devil Wears Prada did such a good job in its sequel, especially, again, being 2 decades later. This film opened almost triple of what the original opened over 20 years ago. The original opened to $27.5 million. Again, this film opened to $77 million. It landed pretty well with audiences, as the 76% female-dominated audience that saw this film this past weekend, we had a 77% on the tomato meter and an 87% on the popcorn meter. For those, again, who are new to the show, the tomato meter and the popcorn meter are through Rotten Tomatoes, And the tomato meter is the critic score, and the popcorn meter is general audiences or verified audiences, but it's more likely just the common man. So very rarely are they tight. Are they very close with what they agree with? And this film seems to pass all the tests. People seem to like it. The Rotten Tomatoes synopsis of the film is, quote, 20 years after making their iconic turns as Miranda, Andy, Emily, and Nigel, Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci return to the fashionable streets of New York City and the sleek offices of Runway Magazine in 20th Century Studios' The Devil's Wear Prada's 2. The eagerly awaited sequel to the 2006 phenomenon, blah, 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 blah. So that is the Rotten Tomatoes synopsis of the film. Mm-hmm. And again, it has done pretty well. Jake, why do we think, again, these legacy sequels, they hit, they miss. It's kind of hard to gauge. Why do we think this one was so successful?
My mom.
Your mom.
No. I don't know. I might take the cop out and say, yeah, like that. My mom and the demographic. I feel like, I don't know. I'm probably putting words in her mouth now, but it's like, I think she likes the first movie and was like, let's go watch another Sandra Bullock, Meryl Streep, Stanley Tucci, like big names, big personalities, work well together. And I'm not going to say that, like, I wouldn't enjoy watching the first and then the second. Like, I don't know. Those are, not to say that those are my type of movies, but I feel like they are enjoyable enough that, maybe not a man's man blue collar guy could get something out of it, but I don't know. I think there's a story to be told, at least in the first one. I can't say anything about the second one.
Yeah. I think obviously we are not the demographic here for this film. So like maybe that's why. And on top of it, I think there's a generational gap here, a very small one, because all I'd seen from this, from the like audience response to the trailer, was that it looked dead of color, which is like more of a cinematic wide issue and entertainment wide problem. But people were using this film as the prime example of that. So I guess in my mind, where that was all I was seeing, again, I'm not the demographic. Like, I will not be getting the marketing for this film outside of that, because film grading and color grading and how films look and adapt throughout time, that is interesting to me. So obviously I'd get what I got and not the rest of it. So I guess maybe I let the generational gap of like, I am not of the generation, or I'm not of the demographic as a straight white man. I'm not one that necessarily would be super into this. Jake looked at me like he was surprised. Thank you, Jake. No,
he just came out.
I will say Stanley Tucci can get me in a seat because I think he's hilarious. I think Stanley Tucci is one of the great talents of our time, and he's so underrated. And the last I'll say about Stanley Tucci, because I'll get off this soapbox. You look at him in any film he's been in, whether he's been the silly character or like in these, like, I think of a film that I didn't expect to like. My wife's favorite film is Burlesque, which has him in it. Did not think I'd like that movie. He runs away with it. He is so funny in that movie. But then you look at him in, what is that film called where he plays a serial killer? He is so good.
Conclave.
No, but he is so good. I got to look this up because there's a film where he's
Inside Man.
No, he was also in Transformers. He was hilarious in Transformers.
He's in Captain America. He's in.
Is it something Bones? I think.
Terminal. Bones.
Hold on.
The Lovely Bones.
The Lovely Bones. That's it. My wife is yelling at me through the walls because she could probably hear me, and she loves that movie too. She's probably like, "You're not. How dare you forget?"
He was in Robots.
But yeah, he was in Robots. He was the villain in Robots, if I remember correctly. But regardless of what he's in, he steals the show, and he can do everything from drama to horror and thriller to the silliness.
The dad.
Oh, was he the dad? He was the dad. Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't realize he was Ewan McGregor's papa in Robots.
I guess so.
He was
Herb Copperbottom. I don't know any other.
No, that's him, because he was the dishwasher dude. He was the what did he say when his son accidentally spilled all the plates and the boss walked in and he's like, "What's going on in here?" He goes, "Please, you're making it whatever," and the thing's flashing around. He goes, "You're trashing my kitchen," and he like bounced off of everything. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He goes, "I'll stop it." And like that. Yeah, that is all I think of is I didn't realize that was Stanley Tucci that was on the receiving end of that. Anywho, let's move on. I think Stanley Tucci is a gem, is what I'm trying to say here. Anyway, coming in second this past week is Michael in its second weekend in theaters, earning $54 million earned domestically, pushing the domestic total to $183.8 million for a domestic total. That is huge. $200 million earned in the States is huge, is ginormous. This what we're doing is relevant later, we promise. But anywho, the film globally has earned $423.9 million. Now the second highest grossing biopic of all time, only behind Bohemian Rhapsody at this point. Michael drops only 44% in ticket sales, which is a solid sophomore hold for, again, a tentpole like this for Lionsgate. After the film's massive success during its opening, Lionsgate CEO Adam Fogelson seemingly confirmed on the Town podcast that a sequel for the biopic is in the works. It is important to note, however, that this was nowhere else. He just said it on a podcast that it was in the works. This hasn't been confirmed officially as far as I can tell. So we want to put that out there that the film needed to make 700 in order to officially greenlight. That came from Coleman Domingo, who stars in the film. However, it's already at 400, almost 430 after 2 weeks, and Adam Fogelson, the CEO of Lionsgate's already seemingly saying that there will be a sequel. So you could probably bet on it, but just wanted to put that out there, that caveat that it's not really anywhere else other than he said it. It came straight from the horse's mouth, but I don't want to say it was confirmed officially by Lionsgate because there was no press release. Anywho, let's go ahead and round out 3 and 4 here. Coming in third is Super Mario Galaxy in its 5th weekend in theaters, earning $12.1 million domestically and pushing its total earned globally to $894 million. And coming in 4th in its 7th weekend in theaters is Project Hail Mary. It just won't die. It's one of those films that it just sticks around, earning $8.6 million domestically and pushing its global total to $638.4 million. Rounding out our top 5 is a debuting Hokum, earning $6.4 million domestic on a $5 million budget. So it's already back in the black, at least in terms of what its production cost. It's not earned back marketing yet, but again, I think this is Neon. Usually they don't spend more than maybe 10 million. So once it hits over that 15, if it opens worldwide, it should hit that. So maybe look for this film to make between 30 and 40, maybe if it opens globally. But the film has landed well with horror audiences, earning an 86 on the tomato meter and an 83% on the popcorn meter. Again, we've got 2 films this week that debuted that audiences and critics both kind of agreed on, that they liked. More so Hokum than The Devil Wears Prada 2, but an odd week where there's not really a big divide. Last week, we talked about the massive split between audience and critics and Michael. This week is the exact opposite. So it kind of gives you the ebbs and flow of what cinema and what the box office can look like from week to week. The Rotten Tomatoes synopsis of Hokum is, quote, when novelist Ohm Bowman retreats to a remote inn to scatter his parents' ashes, he is consumed by tales of a witch haunting the honeymoon suite. Disturbing visions and a shocking disappearance forces him to confront dark corners of his past. It looks sick. It's like folklore horror, which is just absolutely underrated and sick. It's so cool. Like, I love Appalachian folklore specifically. This is not that, but it's so cool looking. I've seen a quick clip of what the villain might look like. Freaky. Like, it's good. I cannot wait to get this one on a screen somewhere or be in a theater to see it. In other news from around the box office, Lee Cronin's The Mummy and The Drama both tank at the box office, both falling by 59 and 60% in ticket sales from last week, respectively. While Animal Farm, Deepwater, and That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, the movie, all debut to 6th, 8th, and 9th, respectively. The last one is an anime. We just will not stop talking about it. Anywho, what'd you say?
W for, getting an anime top 10.
W.
Sony released that, by the way.
Huh. Fascinating. Yeah. So according to the Daily's newsletter, I remember reading that it did what it was supposed to do. It earned $1 million in the box office. They made some money, and now that, like, they weren't really expecting it to go off as much higher than that. So good for them for doing their job, I get. Like, the film was able to do its job. Jake, outside of that, what I just listed, what catches your eye at the box office?
I was going to say that one, but 800 theaters got it $1 million, by the way. So it's not like
that's pretty good.
It had 20 less theaters than The Drama in its 5th week for May 24, and it got 900,000. So it beat out The Drama with 20 less theaters. Now, it's been out for 5 weeks, but still, like, an anime beating out an A24. I don't know. There's something to be said that it made $1 million. I think that, like we talked about at the start of this episode, that anime is a I'm not gonna say viable alternative to but I am saying it like it is big. I think it's here to stay, and if you haven't tried it out, there is something out there for everybody. Don't just give up after watching one.
There's
like
so
my dad loves
much.
One Punch Man. Like he watches all of One Punch.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
he's like he's not seen many other ones, but he watches One Punch Man. So
you have to describe his dad is like blue collar, but techie blue
I
collar.
don't know if he's crazy blue collar.
Well,
Farm,
he's like
tech
adjacent farm, yeah. Like
oh, he's an analyst. He sits in front of a computer. He can't. He's as blue collar as someone who lives on a farm and has built computers all his life.
So do you remember when you gave me like your dad downloaded that show for me, and you remember what he said whenever he handed you what you told me he said to you to tell me? Here's his liberal stuff, and like that's this guy. Yeah. So that guy loves One Punch Man, which I think is hilarious. He's being sarcastic. He's being sarcastic.
Every chance he gets with Ryan, he points out that he's a liberal. Whether or not that's true, I'll let Ryan.
I don't want to name drop him, but we love you, Jake's dad. The thing is, it's funny because he definitely listened to the show, and I understand. I understand why you think that. I understand. And you're not gonna think any better.
He was. I'm not even gonna say what he does, but it's very mainstream. It's not even.
I know. But wait till we get to today's topic. It's gonna be much of the same. But anywho, yeah, going back to the box office, I think it's intriguing that Hokum and Animal Farm was kind of the two that were gonna battle for 5, and it really wasn't close. Hokum more than doubled Animal Farm. Animal Farm is what I had read from critics, it was a dumbed down version of the George Orwell original story from Andy Serkis, which is like, it's odd that Andy Serkis would make such a dumbed down version. We kind of talked about that a little bit last week, that like someone who helped bring to life Lord of the Rings, right? One of the most classic characters of Gollum, and what is like, if you dumb down Lord of the Rings, people will feel that like it's of the same, not the same literature, but like there's a prestige that people hold. Animal Farm, that is not the same apples to oranges, yes, but is similar, I would say. Like people read and analyze Animal Farm in a similar light, more academically, but the meaning behind it is kind of the point. It's a talk on communism. Animal Farm is a motif to why communism fails, and they made a dumbed down, family friendly version, starring a bunch of A-listers, and critics hated it. So I don't know. That probably didn't help. Not that people listen to critics all the time anyway. But with the battle that was back and forth, it's interesting to see a horror film more than double an animation like family feature in their debuts. But also, I feel like Hokum had a much better marketing. Again, I'm of the demographic that would see the marketing for Hokum, but I feel like I haven't seen a lot for Animal Farm other than the critiques of it.
I didn't see anything. So
Jake is of neither demographic.
I told y'all, ads don't work on me. They don't.
Amazon, you know what to do. Toaster ads all over the place.
Toaster ads.
Jake opens. You didn't hear that? The dude who originally directed the remake of oh gosh, Jake Gyllenhaal. What is that called? Oh no,
Nightcrawler.
I gotta look it up. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I cannot remember.
One where he's a detective.
No, he's a fighter.
Oh,
Roadhouse. Yeah, the director of that was mad at Amazon because he was promised, Doug Liman was promised that he was going to get a theatrical release, and Amazon pulled the rug on him and said, actually, no, it's going to whatever. And Doug Liman didn't go to his own red carpet event and said, I don't want to help them sell toasters. And so anytime I think Amazon, I think of Doug Liman yelling about helping Amazon sell toasters, which is...
That is a pretty good thing. Like, that's funny and true.
He is so right for that. But sorry, I know that was very niche, but that's all I think about when anyone says Amazon. It's just Doug Liman.
When we get to the point where I'm watching Drive and I'm able to pause and buy the jacket on Prime, because like I pause it and it's like, you want to buy this jacket? And I'm like, yeah, I do. I mean, I didn't copyright that, so they can have it. But I hope to see it one day. I mean, if we're not already to that point, what are we doing?
They already do that, though, don't they?
I've not seen it to that extent.
Maybe they don't.
I've seen the ads when you pause. What I do like, and I think Prime does it, is the cast in that scene when you pause it.
They've done that for a long time. They've done that for a long time. Yeah.
But no, I'm talking like I pause it and they're like, we have this lamp that's like that set design here. Like there's a reproduction of the lamp that they have, and I'm like, I like that lamp. I like that lamp. Or this table. Like I don't know. IKEA could make a lot of money off of me, actually. But
yeah, I'm not a frequenter of Amazon. The only time I really turn them on is because World of Sports. Well, not The Boys. I do need to watch that though. The Amazon has done a I cannot speak, an endeavor into professional sports, and the NFL and NBA are on there now. But like the C packages of each of them are on there. So that's the only time I'm ever on Amazon, really. But I guess I'll be on there for The Boys and Invincible. Anywho, it's time for predictions. Jake, start us off here. Walk me through your 5. Tell me why.
Devil Wears Prada 2. Shout out my mom.
Jake trying to pick his top 5 for our audience watching and YouTube. Hey. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm shutting up my mom's. And then I got Michael. I got Michael 2. Michael 2. Because I don't think Mortal Kombat 2 is going to do that good.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a video game. Yeah.
I disagree with you, but go ahead.
I don't know. Hold up. I'll rebut. Hold up.
But wait, we have. Oh no, we don't. Never mind. Go ahead. Continue with your top 5.
Hold on. I have to rebut. It came out with 23 million, dude. And that was the first one.
Okay. And
anyway, Michael's gonna beat it.
Okay.
Michael, even at a 50% loss, will be 25.
You think so? What you're saying is, for our audience, you are saying that the original opened at 23, and you doubt the sequel will make more than that. And Michael,
sequel, no, yes, yeah.
Okay.
Michael will beat it even at a 50% loss, which it didn't even have this past week. It had a 44% loss. So I'm saying that Michael, I don't think a sequel, even if it has Carl Urban starring, is going to beat Michael in its third week. It's a video game movie, and I don't see it. I guess, did I do Mortal Kombat 2? Mortal Kombat 2 at 3. The Sheep Detective at 4, and Super Mario Galaxy at 5, because I didn't. There's nothing else that's coming out besides Mortal Kombat 2, The Sheep Detectives, and a live tour with Billie Eilish.
Yeah, I think the live tour might be one to throw a wrench into both of our plans here. TJ seems to think so, but I disagree, and I agree with you that it will not crack the top 5. I agree with you on The Devil Wears Prada 2 at number 1, but I think Mortal Kombat 2 will kind of usurp Michael, mainly because Michael already dropped 44%. However, the big reason I do think Michael will drop by 50%. So we will probably see it in that 23 to 26 range in terms, or million range, I should say, come next week. But the big reason why I feel like Mortal Kombat 2 will be on top is because it has IMAX screens. Carl Urban, IMAX screens. There's a lot of hope and hype for this film. The first one was received really well. I think we'll see Mortal Kombat do a lot better than what you think. I do understand your logic is very sound with why Michael, especially using the first one's pull. But I think that the first one has enough of a following that with the sequel, the addition of Carl Urban, with what we've seen, the previews and the trailers look sick. And on top of it, again, it's got those IMAX screens. I think you're going to see a pretty big push from Mortal Kombat into the top 5, followed by Michael, because that 20, let's just call it 25, like you had said. That 25 range, I think, is pretty solid for a top 3 film. Followed by, I'm going to eat my words, because if you remember what I had said late last year, we were predicting our biggest winners and losers of this year, and I called The Sheep Detective a massive loss. I said, I said, that looks terrible. Why would you greenlight that? And on a show where I specifically am like, man, we got to be positive. That was my one break where I was like, this just looks like a terrible movie. And I'm eating my words, because now it's right now, according to critics, the highest rated Hugh Jackman film ever. And people are saying it's great, and I will have to go see it. And I've probably made a very, very poor decision to shame this movie before even knowing what it could offer. But because of that, because it's a family feature and it's highly received and it's got Hugh Jackman, I have it at 4th. And then at 5, I have Super Mario Galaxy, just sliding everything else down. We see the death of Project Hail Mary in the top 5 finally after 8 weeks next week. Super Mario will hold on and push over that 900 or close to the 900 million earn mark globally. And again, Sheep Detectives will probably earn around 15. Michael will earn around that 25. Mortal Kombat will be closer to 30. And then the Devil Wears Prada will probably be around the 50, if I had to predict. Anyway, that's my top 5. Jake, what is Claude saying? What does TJ have to predict for this upcoming weekend?
Man, it's all over the place.
Man, it's wrong.
Oh. Mortal Kombat 2 at 1. At 1. It's saying 40 million, which is, I think, what people were projecting. Because I looked it up. When I was looking up what the first one, I just said Mortal Kombat box office debut, and it came up with the number 2 at this is after this was on the show. I wasn't looking them up, but I might be right. And then it's got The Devil Wears Prada 2 at 2, Billie Eilish live tour in 3D, whatever the what is the name of it?
You got it right.
Hit Me Hard and Soft, the tour, live in 3D.
I don't like it.
At 3. At 3. And then the Sheep Detectives at 4 and Michael at 5. Michael dropping to 5 in Claude's.
I didn't even realize that. That is crazy. Highly disagree.
Yeah.
I understand. So Mortal Kombat 2, it could make 40. I just don't think Devil Wears Prada 2 will drop that much. Like, I don't see it making less than 40 million. After making 77 this week, I don't think it will earn less than 40. It will drop by 40% and make around that 40 million.
No, wait. Hold on. What is this weekend?
Why? What happened? Did we overlook something?
It's Mother's Day.
Oh no! Even more reason why The Devil Wears Prada 2 will come in 1.
I don't think so.
Why?
Because they're gonna take the moms out the theaters.
Yes, and The Devil Wears Prada is gonna be the one that you go see.
No, they're not going to we're gonna go.
Could not see it any other opposite. I think moms will go go to this. You know what you can do for me for Mother's Day? You can take me to go see Anne Hathaway and Meryl Streep.
I don't think people are doing that.
And Stanley Tucci. I think they are. I think you're good. That's why the whole summer. This week technically also started the summer frame. The summer frame is built around that idea, and the Christmas frame is built around that idea, and they make tons of money every single year still. So I think you're misconstrued. I think you're wrong.
My mom doesn't go watch movies in person.
And his mom doesn't go to theaters, so he don't know. He don't know, man. Chat, clip that.
Claude, I guess Claude's gonna get another 5 out of 5.
I don't think so. I think Devil Wears Prada will be 1. I cannot believe Billie Eilish will break top 5. I understand how popular she is. She's not Taylor Swift popular. And so I do not think that's
Whoa.
I don't she's not. Is that crazy to think? I don't think she is. She's not. I don't think her film's gonna crack top 5.
I just thought you were having a take there.
No, I don't think.
You have to be more on the fence.
No, I don't think she's as popular as Taylor Swift. I don't think that's that shocking.
See.
The masses hate me because I'm right. The masses hate me because I'm right. Anyway. I don't think Billie Eilish will be top 5 just because I think there's so many other good options here. There's so many other good options. I just don't think that Billie Eilish will crack the top 5.
Okay.
Anyway, anything else you want to tell the people about the box office or our predictions before we get to our main topic segment?
Everybody go watch Devil Wears Prada 2. And then Michael.
It would have been funny if you told them to go watch Billie Eilish. Chat, go watch Billie Eilish. Prove him wrong.
What? Go watch it. Even if you don't like her. Even if you like Taylor Swift more, which you'd be wrong.
What are you talking about? Now we're about to get attacked by the Swifties. Like now we're under direct assault.
Emily says we're getting canceled.
Oh well. Anyway.
This show, he asked me to be here.
You show up every week. We talk about.
Dude, come on. What would you do if I didn't?
I'd be very sad. I'd be very, very
He
sad.
never says that.
After a year and a half, he's like, he's forcing me. Anyway,
just cold turkey quit.
Oh, upset. I don't know what I'd do, to be honest with you. I feel like I just show up at your house. All right, Jake. I did not take that slander off the screen. I never once said, for our audio listeners, Emily behind the screen here, beyond the screen here, she put a graphic that says that I hate Billie Eilish, Ryan Gum 26, which is not what happened.
Alongside Tom Holland and who was the other one?
I don't remember who else I hated. We just kind of. Who else do we hate? James Gunn.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Why do I hate James Gunn? This is getting out of hand. All right, we're moving. Milan. I love Milan. I do remember that. I love Melania. Well, that is such a good.
Filled with hate.
That is such a good segment. A good way to pivot to our next segment. So coming up after the break, we're going to talk about the FCC, about Jimmy Kimmel,
and expectant widows.
And that's where we'll leave it. We'll see you right after the break. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You made it to segment 2, which is always our major news segment. So we talk about the biggest, the best, sometimes the weirdest from the previous week in entertainment, Hollywood, cinema, and beyond. So last week, we broke down the whole controversy surrounding Michael and why people hated it, why people loved it, and a little bit about the man himself, which is as convoluted as it can get. So if you want our opinions, you want to hear that breakdown and some recommendations for things to go watch to get your own opinion, go listen to last week's, because I think it's very worthwhile. It was a fun, a deep dive and discussion on the show. But we follow that up with what better way to follow up Michael Jackson controversies than politics, right? FCC, the Federal Communication Commission, targets Disney's broadcast license after yet another spat between ABC late night personality Jimmy Kimmel and our president, Donald Trump. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Disney's biggest, again, this is their late night talk show host. ABC's Jimmy Kimmel Live has been on since 2003. We've heard it before. We'll talk a little bit about what happened in September once we get through this controversy, because these two are just going to keep going at it until it's over. As I said, they're back in the proverbial verbal boxing ring, and they're going back and forth again with what seemingly started from a joke that ignited the political and entertainment world, and a lot of people have their own opinions on it, but we want you to form your own, so we're going to tell you exactly what happened. So the FCC ordered Disney this past week and ABC to apply for early broadcasting license renewal just a day after the president called yet again for Kimmel's firing. According to NPR, following the early license renewal order, FCC Chair Brendan Carr went on the Kate Miller podcast to talk about the broadcast license and Disney. Mind you, Kate Miller, and I forgot to put this in the notes, her husband works for the Trump administration. Put that out there. So this guy, right after he put out the order for ABC and their license renewal, he ran to his buddy's wife's podcast, which is such a funny way to phrase that, to talk about his job and what he can and can't do. So anywho, he states, quote, "You can accelerate when a license comes due and say, hey, we have significant concerns about the value of conducting your operations. We want to review your license now and decide if you're in the public interest. If we find that a broadcast hasn't been doing that, then the statute requires us to issue a hearing designation order." Long story short, he is making the point that if a broadcaster is doing something that kind of misaligns with what they're required to do, the regulations, like henceforth put by the FCC, they have every right to kind of up for renewal to review their practices and make them fall in line or take away their broadcast license, is what Brendan Carr was saying on, again, his co-worker / buddy's wife's podcast directly after doing that. While not mentioning Kimmel himself during the podcast interview, Carr would go on to criticize Disney for their DEI policies of all things, insinuating that this might be the reason behind the order to begin with. So, what started this whole thing? Why are they back to spatting? Why is Brendan Carr back on podcast talking about Jimmy Kimmel and Disney? Why is President Trump again calling for Kimmel's firing and saying ABC's lost all their audience, saying Kimmel's yelling at whatever? Why is all this happening? Well, it was kind of an unfortunate chain of events for Kimmel especially. And depending on how you look at it, it wasn't a chain of events. It was targeted, but we'll get to that point here in a second. But anyway, let's go for it. For those who don't know, Kimmel aired a sketch in which he starred in what NPR described as, quote, a mock speech for an alternative White House correspondents' dinner, which is right before this past week's correspondents' dinner, right? So on Thursday night, he aired, not this past Thursday, but Thursday before, he aired a sketch where he was a spokesperson for this White House correspondents' dinner. Then something happened last Monday. During his sketch, I should say before I get there, he specifically took aim at Melania Trump, describing how she is, quote, beautiful and, quote, has a glow like an expectant widow. 3 days after. Sorry, go ahead, Jake.
The most hilarious joke I've heard all Monday.
Jake's not even lying.
Said it. No.
I
think that's so funny.
We'll get to what he might have meant, because there's a lot of things that people disagree, and there's a lot of reasons people feel like he might have meant something different. But Jake took it as a joke. After the joke, 3 days later, at the actual White House Correspondents' Dinner, Cole Allen, who is alleged right now, charged the event with the assault rifle in hand, I think it was a shotgun, with a plan to assassinate the president. So, Thursday night, Kimmel makes joke about an expectant widow, Melania. Monday night, or Sunday night, I think, assassination attempt. Henceforth, where we are now. The response to the joke and the subsequent unfortunate timing of the assassination attempt was immediate. According to PBS News, Melania took to social media to call out Kimmel, stating, quote, Kimmel's hateful and violent rhetoric is intended to divide our country. His monologue about my family isn't comedy. His words are corrosive and deepens the political sickness within America. Trump, as stated earlier, also called for Kimmel's firing. Then came the FCC's renewal order, all in very quick succession. Reminder, the FCC says it's just bad timing and that they did not do that because Trump and Melania criticized Kimmel, but a lot of people have other thoughts about that. Anywho, Kimmel responded to all the backlash himself, stating, quote, obviously it was a joke about their age difference and the look of joy we see on her face every time they're together. Kimmel went on to describe that his sketch was never intended to incite an assassination, and pointed that his own track record has shown that he is highly against gun violence, that he is highly for gun reformation or gun law reformation. So he's saying it was a joke, and my track record does not align with what the president is arguing that I tried to insinuate or incite an assassination. For Disney's part, they put out their own statement with a spokesperson reiterating that the company has always complied with FCC rules and its regulations, and that they are confident they will retain their license. Politically, the timing of the FCC's order, as I had stated before, comes across as nothing more than intimidation, right? Now, this is from across the aisle. I'm not going to sit here and say this is everybody feels this way, but a lot of people in politics feel like the FCC's order following Trump's own him saying, hey, Kimmel should be fired, that it is just straight intimidation from the executive branch. And at worst, it's a blatant attack on free speech. With Senator Elizabeth Warren and the FCC's own Anna M. Gomez both lamenting the decision by Brendan Carr in the FCC. According to NPR, public interest media lawyer Andrew J. Schwartzman described how he felt about the entire situation. So this is a guy whose whole job is media interest and public interest in media, and he's a lawyer representing people in similar cases. So Andrew Schwartzman states, quote, FCC Chair Brendan Carr knows full well that he lacks any legitimate legal basis for taking action against these broadcasters. He's trying to harass and bludgeon them. To give a deeper perspective, PBS News sat down with CNN chief media analyst Brian Stelter. Now, I know you're like, oh, we're on from the argument to Democrats to CNN. Well, hold on, because that's not necessarily, yes, he was lambasting Trump for what he did, but he made an interesting point that this is why we're pulling from this source specifically. Stelter stated, quote, it is true there's been an open investigation of Disney involving the company's diversity practices, DEI programs. That's been going on for quite some time. And it's true that just last week, Disney turned over some documents in that probe. So that's going to give the Trump-aligned SEC chairman Brendan Carr the excuse or the rationale or the story that he can tell publicly about why this is happening. So obviously, this is CNN, which aligns very specifically with one side of the aisle. And he was making the point that this is going to be used as a rationale or an excuse for Brendan Carr. But it is important to note, regardless of all, that even CNN, don't get one source, like all your news from one source. But it's interesting to see that even CNN is saying, hey, this investigation has been going on since before this, and that their claim isn't necessarily backed up, by like the claim that it wasn't impacted by Trump and by Trump's angry shouting on Twitter or Truth Social. But it's interesting to see that there was already an investigation beforehand. So take that as you will. Outside of the realm of politicians, prominent actors and media personalities also gave their insights into the very public spat. Joe Rogan, of all people, came to the defense of Kimmel. Remember that guy that was promoting Trump on his campaign? Yeah, Joe Rogan himself stated on his own show, quote, Kimmel's skit came out on Thursday. No one cared Friday. No one cared on Saturday until Saturday night when the assassination attempt, and then all of a sudden, everyone's blaming Kimmel. Rogan further pointed out that Kimmel's argument of him making a joke about the age difference between Donald and Melania was plausible, stating, he's old, which is so funny. He's like, he is an old guy, so maybe he was making a joke about their age difference. In another place, legendary actor George Clooney, who has been critical of the Trump administration before, also came out to Kimmel's defense, pointing out a self-described double standard by comparing Kimmel's skit to words spoken by the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt just days before the correspondents' dinner, where she stated, quote, there will be some shots fired tonight in the room. Everyone should tune in. It's going to be really great. I'm looking forward to hearing it. So George Clooney's pointing out that, hey, obviously she wasn't meaning, now depending on who you believe, what you believe. I know some people, there's a conspiracy around, which we're not going to talk about that. But George Clooney's making the point that obviously she wasn't saying that there was going to be actual gunfire. So Kimmel was not trying to incite violence. Like, he's saying there's a double standard there, which, yeah, that's kind of obvious. However, point is, media personalities from what seem all points of the perspectives and all political alignments are all criticizing this exact what's happening, I should say. Clooney further argued, we already went over that, arguing that the shots that she was talking about, shots fired, was not actual shots. So anyway, Jake, what do we think about this entire situation?
I don't think anybody can say anything now. My God, the dang liberals and conservatives care too much about what other people think, and they get the panties in a twist. Yeah, I don't know. That's what I thought. I was like, man, I thought it was a great joke. I got it.
Yeah.
And I like the sarcasm where they said that the joy on her face when she's around him, and I'm like, she looks real happy to be there, honestly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I take it. Is I will fence sit for a long time. I will fence sit a long time before I get off this fence, and everything's funny to me, both sides. Like, I don't know. I think that I try to joke about it because I don't really want to think about what's what the I guess the negatives of it.
Yeah.
I'm
like what's actually happening.
Yeah, I was like, that's awful. But funny haha tweet.
Yeah.
Like this would definitely be funny in like a video game or a movie. Too bad it's not in that.
Dude, you can't write it. Like it is like a sitcom at this point. I guess my whole thought when I first see it is like, I cannot help but think back, and we talked about this before the show. We've talked about Kimmel and Trump before. This is not the first time this has been our major topic of discussion on this show. Back in September, Kimmel was pushed off the air for about a week because of a spat between him and Trump. Specifically, back then it was because, I don't remember exactly what the joke was, but he said something about Charlie Kirk, and the Trump administration used that as a way to try to get ABC to fire him. But before that even happened, Stephen Colbert's show was canceled. CBS, which is where his show was hosted, or is still hosted for the next couple of weeks, owned by, or was about to be owned by, the Trump family-loving Ellisons, who own Skydance, but now own Skydance Paramount, right before the FCC, which is run by a Trump-loving MAGA conservative in Brendan Carr, who was appointed by Trump himself, right before he gives the Skydance Paramount merger the green light, CBS cancels The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Wonder why? When that happened, Trump put out on Truth Social this huge rant, which ended with Kimmel is next. And what happened? Kimmel was next. The very next thing that happened, it might have been a week, it might have been a month. It was in that time frame, very close together. Kimmel was kicked off the air for a week. because of a Trump push.
Sounds
Now,
like a threat.
It did sound like a threat. And at the time, and again, I said earlier that like I made the joke about Brendan Carr going on a podcast ran by his coworker or his friend's wife. This is not the first time that he's run to a podcast after making a point as the chair of the FCC. He did it again, or he did it before in September, right as Kimmel's first issue was arising. And he said something along the lines of, quote, like we could do this the easy way or the hard way, talking to Disney, ABC, and Jimmy Kimmel. So again, when I see this, my initial thoughts and when I see this happening again, yes, the timing is bad, but it just feels like the FCC and it feels like this administration have it out for Kimmel because Kimmel is constantly at odds. He's one of the biggest voices in all of America. And as things stand, I don't think, does Seth Meyers, does he talk? I know he does like make jokes at the Trump administration expense, but he's not near to the extent as Kimmel. Colbert is on his way out, so he doesn't care. Trump got what he wanted, so he's making all of whatever. But the two most critical, because Fallon doesn't say anything. He doesn't say anything about anybody. Jimmy Fallon does not care. But the two who are the most critical, Colbert and Kimmel, are the two that are either canceled or attacked by this administration. And I don't think that that's a coincidence. And as a person who I don't really align, I know cop out, take the easy way out. I don't align with either political party really, because I feel like the establishment is there for both of them, regardless of who's in power. Things are a little better, maybe one way or the other, but not. I think that the things in place. I described this to you guys before you guys as Emily and Jake before the show. The reason we're in this position now is because of the failure of the opposite party. If there was a better option, we would have gone with it as a country, but there wasn't, so we didn't, right? And I say we as a nation, not trying to say who I voted for because I will never reveal that information. But I'm a progressive, so you can probably guess. But
I'm not gonna
anywho,
say the joke that didn't land twice before this show.
Anyway, insurance policy or insurance company.
What's insurance got with this?
Thank you. But anyway, I think that this is obviously targeted. And I think that it's targeted because the guy doesn't like to look bad. The guy has a small ego and he's not very popular right now. So the easiest way to stop the opposition is to try to shut them up. But the problem is people aren't dumb and they see right through this. They see right through it. So yeah, I think this is an obvious blatant assault on Kimmel and ABC and Disney, specifically Disney and ABC, because they refused to take him off the air. And now we'll see what happens. And the thing is, even if they do try to take away that license, no judge in America, regardless of political affiliation, will side with them. Will side with the FCC because they've done nothing wrong. They've done nothing wrong. The last time this happened, and it was either we'll have the link in the description or in our doc that we'll link down below. It's either PBS or NPR had this. The last time the FCC revoked a license was from a Mississippi station in 1969 for promoting segregation. That was the last time this has happened in our country. A real reason to pull a license. So Kimmel talked bad, and now the FCC is threatening with the basis of DEI, which again, they had the thing open before, but we'll see. Jake, our next talking point here, do we think, talking about the FCC, speaking of them claiming it was DEI and had nothing to do with the president's threat, do we think that this is just bad timing in regards to the renewal order? Do we think this was going to happen regardless, or do we think they were waiting?
I think it's all like perfect storm. Like, oh, it's coming up. Yeah, we get to also add this to the list of reasons, you know? Like, I think it just, oh, he's frozen. Oh, he's back. No, he's frozen.
No, I'm still here.
Oh, he's back. Frozen for me. Frozen.
I'm not frozen. I'm still here. Maybe we'll see in the recording later, but go ahead.
That's pretty much it. It's like, I think it's just perfect storm. It all just happened at the right times. Unless you're one of them conspiracy theorists. If you think it was, yeah. Then I don't think it's a perfect storm.
I don't think it's a conspiracy to think that this was timing, that like it wasn't just timing, it was planned. They've been looking since September to find a reason to try to take him off the air, to threaten Disney and ABC, and they used this as a prime example.
After he said that, they staged the attack.
I did not say that. I think That is great timing. I think the FCC was looking for a reason to try to go after their licenses, and it just so happened that what he said happened right before an assassination attempt. Regardless of conspiracy or not, that's the crazy timing. I don't think it's crazy timing that the FCC made this order after Trump said to. I don't think that's crazy. I think that's obviously planned that they wanted to do that. They were looking for a reason and they lucked into one. The reason is coincidental. The timing's not. And that's what the FCC is arguing against. They're like, no, we were going to do this anyway. Bull, you're lying. Why are you lying? Why are you continuously lying? Is it obviously not? But anywho, our last talking point on this. Do we think where I kind of have given away, I put the horse before the cart before the horse here, or whatever they say.
The horse, it was named Friday.
Yeah, I knew Jake would find that funny. But do we think that this is a direct attack from this administration on Kimmel and ABC? I put the cart before the horse. I think it is. But you, Jake.
They hate a guy who's funnier than them.
Honestly, that you say that sarcastically, but you're not wrong.
If you can't beat him, take him off the air.
Yeah. Hello, Emily, who joined us from Beyond the Ether.
Hello, I just want to take this time to point out my previous reference before we began, and this is just like what happened in the Hunger Games when they brought on Seneca Crane and they locked him in a room and then they put nightlock berries in front of him. That's what I think is going to happen to Jimmy Kimmel here. Thank you.
So in short, Emily thinks Kimmel's dead.
Did you get the reference?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So for those who don't understand the reference, he was like the game maker guy and he let something slide that they didn't like. And in order to shut him up, they locked him in a room with poisonous berries. And they're like, this is your only option here, pal, because you're not getting back on the air. You're welcome. I'll talk.
Yeah. The thing is, so going back to give some more detail, the reason why I think that this is an attack, Disney, so ABC, if I remember correctly from our sources, owns 8 stations. So that's 8 licenses, the earliest of which runs up in 28. So they are kind of coming up on a new one. But not only is the timing of when, right after the criticism from Trump saying to take Kimmel off the air, then all of a sudden this renewal, the renewals for all of them. Not just the one in 28. The renewals for every single one of them. My thing is, too, it's funny that they think they're just going to attack Disney and get away with it. Like, this is literally like the Empire in Star Wars. This is Walt Disney we're talking about here. I don't know.
Ryan, it's just too political. I think you're going to get assassinated. They don't like what we're saying here. You're going to get, yeah. I don't want to say his name, but you're going to get that.
No. Ugh. I like to think that old DJT is scrolling the internet. I gotta find a podcast.
It's this show.
And he sees what's our thumbnail. So if you clicked on this video, you saw like I haven't made it yet, but I'm gonna make like a Rock'em Sock'em Robots, but with Trump and Kimmel heads, and they're like fighting each other. I'm really excited for that. Yeah, and I think that Trump would go by and he'd be like, "Oh, I'm totally gonna win." He presses play, and he's like, "These little guys!" He's like yelling, and that's how it happens. Cash, get him! Cash Patel, get him!
Cash, wasn't he not? What'd he do? Tell him what he did.
He drank on the job, didn't he?
Oh yeah. What about the other guy? When there was a guy before, he's like,
oh, so the former FBI director,
yeah, the former guy.
Yeah, mostly the last. We're kind of going off the deep end here, but talking more about like silencing freedom of speech, if that's what we really claim this to be. Is it Comer? I can't remember his last name. I think it's like James Comer.
Well, there's.
Yeah, hold on. I think this is the guy. No, I can't remember. Ironically, no, this is not the guy that I thought. The former FBI director wrote like 8647, which if you know anything about like Comey, it was James Comey. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So he was a former director of the FBI, he wrote 8647 in, I think, some sand or some dirt and posted it to social media. And if you've ever worked in, the dude's 6'8", by the way. I'm looking at his thing right now. The dude's tall. But if you know anything about, like, if you worked in, like, restaurants or you know anything about, like, just the food industry,
when you run it in film.
When you, exactly. But it's almost universal, but specifically, like, people attribute it to, like, fast food. If you run out of something, or if you don't serve that anymore, or if whatever, you say you've 86'd it, or it's 86, right? Like, you have some slang that has the term 86 in. Now, back in, like, the 1920s, if you said you were to 86 somebody, that did mean kill. But since then, like, the modern version, which has been around for probably closer to a century now, has just been you've run out of, get rid of, you don't have anymore. So what we think, or like what the general population thinks, is that this man was just trying to say, like, hey, remember, Trump is the 47th president. Get rid of, like, or impeach the 47th president. That man was arrested on threatening to assassinate the president, and he is now being charged. And it's kind of, that is another example of, like, if we're talking about what he's trying to do to Kimmel, this is just like a much worse example of, like, that is quite blatantly suppressing your freedom of speech, because the guy did not say kill the president. He said impeach, or at least insinuated it with the numbers in the sand or the dirt or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's odd. I just think it's all very, I know we get political from time to time on here, and we try not to alienate people. And if you have a perspective that you want, that you have on the show, that you want to, like, or not on the show, but like that you have that hopefully the show is something that you can still connect to. But anywho, regardless of your political affiliation.
Do we have any movie-related things to talk about, Ryan?
Hey, we are beyond the screen. We're not just the movie screen, man. But we do in our next segment, which is a great transitionary point.
Segue.
Yeah, it's a good transition. Segue.
Yeah,
same thing. I literally said the same thing. I said the same thing. Bro, segueing. Mm-hmm. Coming up after the break, we talk about what you should know before you go. We'll be right back. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Beyond the Screen. You've made it to segment 3, which is always our quick hits, what you should know before you go. So we'll tell you the rest of what happened in entertainment, or the biggest headlines that weren't necessarily worthy of a full deep dive breakdown, 45 minutes of discussion, but they're definitely worth talking about, and you definitely worth hearing. But before we get to that, thank you so much for being here. I always kind of take this quick moment to discuss mainly just my joy for you being here and for you allowing us to do this. We take time out of our day every single week, every single Monday to really try to find the biggest and the best from around Hollywood and entertainment. And then we come together to just share these stories and have fun and just yap. And we just cannot thank you guys enough for allowing us to do that. Again, I get to do these with two of my closest friends, and I'm so thankful for it. And it's not possible without you at home, regardless of if you're watching your first time or if you watch every single week. We love you. We thank you. And if you really want to help us out, as always, like, subscribe, follow, comment, share, every little detail, everything you can do, regardless of platform. We just recently got on iHeart. Is that correct, Jake? Did we end up getting on iHeart? We applied. I know we're on
something else.
Amazon, right? Amazon.
Yeah, we were on Amazon. We're on Apple, Spotify,
Amazon. You already said Amazon, but iHeart was what we were trying to. We looked at Pandora and Sirius. YouTube. We're essentially everywhere you listen, especially the big ones. So,
and if we're not,
yeah,
I guess we'll never know.
Let us know, and we'll happily try to find a way to get over there. But you can watch us on Spotify, Podbean. Yeah, you can watch us on Spotify and YouTube. Listen to us anywhere else. We're really, like, we are anywhere and everywhere. But thank you so much for allowing us to do this. And as always, we love you. And we'll get on with our quick hits segment. So, we have Oscar eligibility updates. That's right. The Academy has some updates for certain categories and for certain nomination, who can win, who can't. Now let's talk about it. Actors now may be nominated in the same category for multiple roles. So in theory, an actor or actress can win Best Lead, a nomination for Best Lead 2 times if they did it in 2 different movies. So before, you can only be nominated once, regardless of how many roles you were in, regardless of if they were Oscar worthy. Now, if you have two like best actor, best actress worthy performances, you can be nominated twice, which I think is
You're gonna
pretty
see
cool.
a full sweep.
Yeah.
Oh, just twice?
You
What
know,
about all 5?
Maybe you can be nominated more than once. I don't remember. I just saw twice because of what people were saying. But yeah, I guess in theory you could full sweep it if you that would be a sick Oscar.
I mean, if you're that good,
yeah, greatest of all time. Like you're talking about someone who's making an argument for the greatest of all time. If you're in 5 movies that are worth best actor,
it's hard enough to be in 5 movies.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Like if you could figure that out, that'd be pretty cool. I think actually,
and then also be goated enough to be nominated for all 5.
The first person to be nominated for 5 straight, I guess that'd be pretty cool. In other news, the Academy has also. Sorry, go ahead.
I would probably print 5 Oscars just because all the movies. Like, you're gonna make people choose. If you're gonna nominate them for all 5, just give them 5 Oscars.
Yeah, I think at that point they would have to say like which one was the best, and that would make a better argument because like that's more fun because it's like okay, like this guy's obviously won, but which
then it
role?
Better be a diamond statue.
That would be pretty cool. It's like a diamond play button on YouTube. No, I'm just kidding. But anywho, and another Oscar news, AI has forever been banned from winning an Oscar for acting and screenwriting. So you thought I was going to stop after forever been banned from winning an Oscar. Nope, just for acting and screenwriting thus far. But it has to be done by a human consenting is what it said. Was like that. That is like the language they used when determining who could win and who couldn't. But I'm shocked this wasn't a thing already.
Well,
we've talked about like, I remember about maybe in December or November, they had talked about how in screenwriting in particular, a certain percentage had to be human written. Like it was like 80% or 90% of the script. Like you could use chat or whatever to assist you, but it had to be overwhelming majority written by human hand. But now they're just straight out saying AI can never win at all, which I guess is just saying the quiet part out loud with those restrictions they already had in place. But that's interesting to me that they expanded it to acting as well, which would that have impacted like The Brutalist and oh gosh, what was that other film that was French?
No, because that was in the sound portion.
Right, but still, does that impact it? Like, would that because they used AI to influence their dialects and how they spoke and how they sang? Huh?
I mean, it didn't act.
It's acting. Well, it's acting and writing is banned from AI.
But the AI was utilized in singing and spoken portions, not acting or writing.
But people can argue that you being able to perform that dialogue is part of acting, and that you're giving yourself a crutch by not being able to perform that dialect.
Mm-hmm.
Or same thing with singing. Like if you can't hit that note, you shouldn't be able to use AI.
I think it's more focused on the fake actor.
I agree.
In the sense of acting.
Tilly Norwood, shout out. Yeah.
Don't shout her out.
Yo, my girl Tilly. Yeah, her. They're specifically trying to ban her from winning an Oscar. Anyway, moving on to our next quick hit. A bidding war is currently underway for Christopher McQuarrie. I cannot say this man's name. Christopher McQuarrie. I was trying to do our quick hits thing earlier, and I kept going Christopher because I don't know why, but Christopher McQuarrie. And potentially Michael B. Jordan starring Battlefield adaptation with Warner, Amazon MGM, Netflix, Universal, and Sony currently attached to in the bidding war for producing this film. Who do we think should win? And are we excited for a potential Battlefield adaptation?
If stars align, we could see a Call of Duty and Battlefield debut.
Oh, that'd be kind of fun.
I think it would work.
Do you think this would be like a Barbenheimer like level of? I don't think so.
If you had both,
maybe.
Come out.
I love Michael B. Jordan. Don't get me wrong. I'm not really familiar with McQuarrie's his work, but I just don't think this is needed. Like I don't know. I'm not one that's the biggest.
I'm not saying that Call of Duty was needed.
No, not. I mean, but the thing is that we'll talk about this in a minute because I feel like that's in here. Yeah, we'll talk about Peter Berg and some comments he made. This is a little bit older news, but we're talking about Call of Duty has so many cool storylines that I just don't feel like Battlefield has. Like Battlefield has a few, but like Modern Warfare and Black Ops. You're telling me you can't adapt those into some form of film or television production? I think they could, and it'd be sick. What can you really do with Battlefield? Battlefield is more known for like its crazy
Hardline, bro. Come on.
Maybe, but when I think of Battlefield, I think of like the cinematic masterpiece that is Battlefield 1. I think of like destroying buildings and the crazy architecture destruction that you could do in, what is it? I don't remember which Battlefield that was, but you get the point. 4. You get the point I'm making though, is that like that's more of an aesthetic thing, less of a story. Tell me one really good Battlefield story arc. Can you name one off top of the dome?
Hardline has an awesome story.
Okay, Hardline, but outside of Hardline.
Not the one that you mentioned.
Well, no, I mean, okay, you said Hardline. I could name. We've talked about it on the show.
Bad Company 2 was really good, and a lot of people like Bad Company 1, but I never.
Bad Company wasn't bad. You got me there. I'll give you that one. But like with Call of Duty, I mean, I think Ghost was underrated. Advanced Warfare is underrated as a story. Again,
and that's because of
Spacey.
Yeah,
He's saying. I don't think that was. I think that was before his controversy, but sure,
it was.
I'm thinking like good. Modern Warfare, Advanced Warfare, Black Ops, Ghosts. Like all these are good enough stories to be adapted in one way, shape, or form. Sure, Hardline and Bad Company are maybe 2 stories that you could take from Battlefield. I just don't. I feel like you're gonna have an oversaturated market. You already kind of have an oversaturated market with adaptations anyway. And
this guy wrote and directed Mission Impossible and Jack Reacher.
Oh, then I do know his work. I just didn't realize that was who he was.
Tom Cruise. He's practically a Scientologist.
Low key, he could probably pull off the adaptation. But anyway.
Apparently there's a Tom Cruise SpaceX project thing in pre-production right now.
I thought that fell through
wrote by this guy.
Because they had that
they did it. Still on IMDb.
I thought it fell through because the guy, like, he didn't want to ask NASA and the government for permission, Tom Cruise.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not like it's not going to happen. And I just don't think they can do it for real.
Nah, whatever. Anywho, we ready to move on?
Yeah.
Speaking of a bidding war, Disney Plus was announced as the winner of a 5-way bidding war for the next Casper the Friendly Ghost adaptation from producing Steven Spielberg. This modern reimagining is said to have an edgier tone akin to Netflix's Wednesday.
What else do we have in the closet to bring out? What do we own?
Didn't Spielberg like a month ago at CinemaCon be like, yeah, adaptations and remakes are going to be the death of cinema. Like we need to have more, like we'll run out of firepower. Isn't the same guy that said that now making a remake of Casper as a series? I think that's hilarious. I don't remember who the director is. I think it's the Goosebumps writers and directors are the ones who's like actually penning and directing, but Spielberg is producing this one. I won't
Maybe he just likes Casper.
Yeah. Remakes and sequels are killing cinema. Except for Casper. I'm quite fond of Casper the Friendly Ghost. And Disney's like, okay, sure.
Ryan, you'd be the same way with Transformers.
Low key, dude. I've said it on the show before. I will be the Dave Filoni of the Transformers universe if Hasbro would let me. If Hasbro would let me, I'd do it, and that would be a sick gig, dude. I would have a time of my life doing that.
But I mean, there's a lot of Transformers movies out there already.
Move over, Michael Bay. I'm coming to town. No, I'm just kidding. But honestly, that would be a dream gig. And your point is exactly made. But besides my bias for giant robot, okay.
I'm just saying that like I think it's funny to think that Spielberg treats Casper like you do Transformers.
He's got every iteration down. He knows.
Like I think there's too many reused IPs out there, but Casper,
yeah,
given the chance, I'd do Casper in a heartbeat. It's like,
ironically though, with that being said, I look forward to seeing what this could look like, because Casper, I grew up watching Casper. I remember being at home as a little kid watching 90s Casper the Friendly Ghost. I could get behind some reimagined, updated version, especially if it's Wednesday, especially the first season was worthwhile. What happened?
Dude, Casper debut, first ever seen Casper, 1945. Spielberg birthday, 1946.
No,
That's got to be what it is. He loves Casper.
Was it like a comic strip before it became like a culture?
Yeah,
had to be.
Yeah, it was
had to be
seen in the animated short film The Friendly Ghost, which was released in 1945.
Bro,
he
really?
was around before that. Yeah, I think he's a diehard fan of Casper.
That's awesome. That makes me want to watch this even more, to be honest with you. Good for him.
I don't know. I think that's what it is. Honestly, I was joking at first, and then I was like, wait a minute. Casper's like super old.
Yeah. You know, I never realized.
If you grew up with it. Well, guess what? Yeah.
I knew Steven Spielberg was old. I did not realize he was 80 or approaching 80.
Fair.
That's sad. Anyway.
Well, Casper. I just want to know like all things Casper. Is there like a timeline?
The Casper cinematic universe.
Casper, yeah, Casper timeline. I don't know. Comic. Is there a comic?
I would imagine there's
15. Dang, Casper.
Wait, there's a 1915 comic of Casper?
Where'd that say? Yeah, first appearance.
Huh.
I think.
Cool.
I don't know.
Anyway, old IP make return. Steven Spielberg might be the biggest Casper fan that's ever existed, and now he's making a reimagined, updated series.
Yep, 1915.
Cool.
Very different than what he looks like now, but yeah.
Cool.
Anyway.
Moving on.
Loyal fan.
Yeah. Moving on, according to director Zach Kreger, his upcoming Resident Evil isn't just another reboot, but it's happening alongside the events of the games themselves. Specifically, Kreger notes that he feels his story transpires while Leon Kennedy and company are battling throughout the police station of Resident Evil 2. Have you seen the online discourse for this?
Nope.
Just like most IPs, Resident Evil fans, like diehard Resident Evil fans, I don't want to say all of them. It's more of like a quick Resident Evil fans. So not all, but like there's a decent side of the population that's like, it's a Resident Evil movie. It's going to be bad. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's updated wrong. And what's funny is that like permeates every time there's a Resident Evil film. But what's fun about this is the first time that the games are actually canon, or the film that is being adapted is actually canon to the game storyline. Which I think is sick. And Kreger himself said in an interview, I think it was with IGN, that like when talking about why he didn't just adapt RE2, he was like, hey, Leon Kennedy's story has already been told. Go play the game if you want to learn about Leon. I want to know what's going on in the greater world. And I'm paraphrasing, but like that's such a cool concept. Is like, yeah, like what's happening in this story is happening alongside the events of the canon game themselves. So you don't have to worry about trying to remake them. You just make it in the world of what's going on. And again, in this interview, especially with IGN, I know this one for a fact, he had said that like the core mechanics of the game is what fuels this 90-minute horror. Is like it's finding ammo, finding weapon or ammo that goes with the weapon, right? And health. That is what this character is doing the entire time. And from the trailer that I saw, it seemed very to source. It seemed very like it is almost like an homage. It's like, hey, like I love RE, I love Resident Evil. Here is my take. Here is something I'm adding to this world. I think that's cool. I know I'm not like, I might not be the biggest fan of like RE. I do like Resident Evil. I think the lore is so fun. And there are probably others who are like, but you don't understand. But these eyes thought it looked cool. And these ears liked the justification.
All right.
Jake has no thoughts. Head empty.
My dad likes the Resident Evil movies. I think he's also, are there books or comics?
Probably. I know the games.
He might have read them. I don't think he's played the games. But he likes the
there are books. The Umbrella Academy.
Yeah. He's got an Umbrella sticker on his truck. He's got like level 3 clearance, and he LARPs, as the young kids are saying now. LARPs as an analyst for Umbrella. He's just an office worker at Umbrella with level 3 clearance.
So the books,
it's got a little barcode.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
He just acts like he works at Umbrella.
So the book series which was penned by S.D. Perry, offers 7 novels that novelize the games and add original stories, focusing on characters like Leon, Claire, Rebecca, and Chris.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm in for that. That probably is. He probably did read those then.
He's read a lot of a lot of other zombie stuff too. Probably The Walking Dead and among other universes. He got really into zombies there for a while.
Was he planning? I gotta scout the enemy.
Yeah, he like planned a little bit, and then he moved on to the next thing. And
that's awesome. We gotta be ready.
Where I get it from.
We gotta be ready. All right, I'm over it.
3 months. Moving on.
Yeah. I've got my 3 months worth of rations for when the zombie. I'm so happy I prepped. But anywho,
no, I mean like 3 months on one topic, and then you move.
Right,
on.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was my fear, getting like a motorcycle or film.
You fall out of it.
And it's like I'm like, only this, white hot flame. 3 months. And then, all right, moving on.
All right, I'm over it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you thought this podcast was going to be.
I was hoping.
Say, hit the boo, boo this man. So funny, haha. There we go. Emily comes to my defense. Anyway, we've only got a few more here before we get you out of here. We're never going to get through this. While this might be old, it was revealed a week ago that director of the upcoming Call of Duty video game adaptation named Peter Berg once said in an interview that people who play video games are pathetic and weak. Further stating, quote, "The only people that I give a Call of Duty get out of jail free card to is the military. They're out there serving and they're bored and they want to entertain themselves? Okay, maybe." This is the guy that is now directing the Call of Duty movie.
That's so funny. I think he's just rage baiting.
This was 2013 when he said that. What do you mean rage baiting? He had no idea. That was all honest. Bro stood 10 toes down on that.
Yeah. Bait.
Can you imagine 12 years?
You think people weren't rage baiting in 2013 because the term didn't exist?
I know for a fact they were, but what I'm saying is he's standing 10 toes down because he had no clue. He had no clue that he was going to be directing the movie of that same IP that he was making fun of.
Has anybody asked him about his comments?
Oh, I'm sure. He's probably like, he's like making up an excuse.
People change. It's been 13 years. I played all of the Call of Duties since then.
I don't want to.
You know what it was?
This is what I will say this guy.
Kevin Spacey.
This guy has had a career that I wish I could have, like making like cinematic films in Hollywood for multiple decades now. So I can't really give him any sort of flack because he's had a career and he's about to adapt one of the best known IPs known to man and probably kickstart a multi-billion-dollar franchise. However, if you look at his filmography and you really break it down and compare it to other people of similar stature, maybe he should play more video games because he would have more of an imagination because he does not have. It's all rinse and repeat which is why I have fear for this film in terms of my love for Call of Duty, especially if it's an adaptation of Modern Warfare, which now we'll get to the point I was going to talk about earlier. I love Modern Warfare, and I think it's been primed for a series, especially. I think it'd be sick as like a 3-season arc film series. However, if you're going to adapt it into movies, great, it can happen. I don't think this is the right guy. I never thought it was the right guy. Taylor Sheridan, I think, is a fine writer. I think he has a way of gripping people in a down-to-earth, military-like. He did Yellowstone, which is very like blue-collar type. I think that he can easily transition over to the military style. I'm not worried about this in terms of the writing. Peter Berg, this is the guy who did. Now, I will say, the film I'm about to roast him for, I will also slightly defend because it's so bad it's good. He did the Battleship movie,
which is awesome.
It's not great, but I mean, sure, it looked kind of cool. But he also did. Let's take a look.
It had AC/DC in it.
Yeah. Shoot it through hell. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Or it was Thunderstruck, maybe. Maybe it was Thunderstruck. I don't know. But he's done 4 Mark Wahlberg movies: Lone Survivor, Mile 22, Deepwater Horizon, and Patriots Day, as well as Battleship. And he did Hancock. I can give him a pass for Hancock and Lone Survivor, but Battleship, so bad it's good, right? It's one of those that like it's not really a good movie unless you're not like you're trying to just laugh and just be like, whatever, I'll just turn something on. But Mile 22, Deepwater Horizon, and Patriots Day are all the same. They're all rinse and repeat. They're all Mark Wahlberg with a gun shooting people. That's the movie. And he did it 3 times, not counting Lone Survivor.
There's an audience.
Yeah, there's an audience, but I don't want that audience influencing a movie and a potential franchise that I really care about. Anywho, I want someone who actually knows the lore and wants to establish the game as like, or the video game adaptation as a franchise and do it right. That's who I want touching the being behind the director's chair, not this guy. But anyway, our last and final piece of news before we let you guys go. Diego Luna of Rogue One fame has been cast as a new character in the upcoming Tangled live-action adaptation. And my disappointment is beyond high, because why are we adding new characters to a perfect story? What could we possibly be changing? What could possibly be like need to be updated with this, or need to be adjusted?
She has a sister.
Diego Luna is playing her sis. Diego Luna is playing Rapunzel's sister.
I don't.
That'd be hilarious. Can you imagine Andor himself? Long hair. That'd be sick.
No. Why? Wait. He kind of looks like the main guy though.
He's too old. Sorry.
I know he is, but he was in Dirty Dancing Havana Nights.
I do love Diego Luna though. No shame.
E2 Mama Tambien.
What else was our guy in?
Marcos.
Oh, The Book of Life.
Terminal.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a pretty good filmography. Like, I don't doubt him as a performer.
The Terminal was so good.
Yeah, dude. Oh my gosh. He was in Milk. Was this who is this? Harvey Milk. Yeah, okay. Look up the story of Harvey Milk. It's very upsetting.
Cesar Chavez.
You mean Cesar Chavez?
First language, guys. First language.
Anywho, do we really think that? What do we think about this? We're just kind of going down Diego Luna's rabbit hole of a filmography, which is fantastic. Unlike Peter Berg's. Sorry, go ahead. What?
He's going to be the horse.
But that's not a new character.
But it's not a person.
Do we think that so Maximus, we think that Diego Luna is going to play Maximus. Do we think that they're going to make Maximus like a donkey from Shrek type? Cause I'm all alone. But it's Maximus.
I think he's just going to be a guy.
Doing what? If you wonder what I had to guess. Sorry, go ahead, Jake. What are you saying?
I mean, he's going to like play the part of the horse, but like not a horse. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, they're going to make Maximus a person, and it's going to be...
I give him lines.
Awful. This is why we don't need remakes, man. Like, this is a prime example. Tangled is perfect, and we don't need this.
Use your imagination.
No.
No.
I refuse. I was going to say, I think, because you know what? Now that you say it, you're probably right. But I was going to say, I thought he was going to play they're going to pick a certain security guard that's chasing...
Probably
Flynn Rider. Instead of, because remember Maximus was a horse that was in he was like a cop's horse. Cop. Yeah. And that's how
he's just gonna be the cop.
Yeah. That's how Maximus and Flynn Rider became whatever. But I guarantee you that Diego is gonna play the Maximus's old owner. Yeah. That, or they're just gonna replace Maximus and it's not gonna be a horse and it's gonna be a guy, and that's who Diego. But I think he's gonna be a cop either way.
Yep.
Or a royal guard or whatever.
Yeah, I don't doubt that. I think that's about right. And we're gonna see this like Maximus is gonna have to choose from his owner and
Max,
new people.
Come here, and Eugene's like, Max, I love you, man. Yeah. He's like holding Rapunzel. He's like,
well, I don't think he cares about Eugene as much as he would.
He does love Rapunzel, but he does. But like they became friends. Like that was like the whole point. Is that like Eugene and
I think he tolerates him. Like a cat.
No, they had like a brotherly affection. They fought each other. Look at it. Watch it. Like go back and watch Tangled.
Look at it.
They ended up like they would like hit each other in the ribs and stuff. Like rib at each other.
Yeah, that's.
Go back and watch the movie. I'm telling you. I love
man,
Tangled.
I don't be hitting you in the ribs.
There's so many things. Anyway. Anything else you want to tell the people? Emily, is there anything you want to tell the people before we let them go? She's shaking her head no. She's shaking her head no. She gives a heart. She loves you guys. Jake?
Nope. I got nothing.
On that note, as my friends abandon me to leave you to send you guys off by myself, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next week on another exciting edition of Beyond the Screen. Bye-bye.
Yeah, we hit a minute 30.